you need some sort of guide, some sort of milestone, guidepost, something measurable and quantifiable to make sure that you're on the right path. This goes for everything in life, life itself, in your job, in your relationships, in your finances, everything. You need to have some kind of measured milestone to hit for short term and long term. This is a must. If you don't do this, then you just go through life hoping and guessing that you're doing the right thing. If you don't strive to put parameters on yourself, you will not be able to grow as fast or as well off as you should. So most men, we go through the same sort of like journey. We all go through all these milestones. If it's school, we start off at school in high school. In high school, that is the very beginning, right? There are things that you tried to hit in high school. Maybe you hit a couple of them and they shaped a lot of your life. You can look back on it. I've talked about it before. Look back on it. What kind of milestones did you have? What kind of structure did you start off with? That's something that you can look into, right? And after that, the next big thing is leaving the home, your independence, right? If you went to college, great. If you went off to do some trade school, awesome. Or if you just started working. The most shame thing is leaving the house, right? Which should not be. And the reason that it is, I don't know, it's beyond me. I don't understand it. Live with your family as long as you can, right? Keep on learning. After high school, you should not stop learning. The milestones for education should not stop because in high school, they don't teach you anything really about the real world, especially about finances. And that is the number one step to freedom. I don't care what anybody says. Like, it's not about getting money. It's about gaining freedom. You don't need a lot of money to become free, but you need to realize and understand and figure out how to do that, right? So after that, the very next thing are relationships, right? Everybody jumps into them way too soon, especially men. Like, women can get away with it because they usually date 7 years older than them. So right out of high school, they can start dating 25-year-olds and be fine. For men, it's not the same. No one wants an 18-year-old man. He is basically useless to everybody. He has no life experience. He has no career. He has no, I think he's a high school boy, right? So these guys, they get in relationships very early, and that can hurt quite a bit unless you're with a woman that actually has her head on straight, that you guys are really going to build together, which rarely happens, right? So this is what happens for 80% of men. They get into a rhythm. Doesn't matter if they're working at Walmart and become a manager around 25. Really, around 25 to 30, a man is pretty much established where he thinks he should be. And he justifies where he is in that point of life. Right? You have guys that are lifelong renters. And I think a milestone for every man is to own a house by 30. It should be. That's the one thing, buy dirt, man. Like, it's like you're paying somebody for most of your life. Like, that's not something that you should do. House by 30, very good thing to aim for. Figure out how to do it. Like, just saying that is very easy, but figure out how to do it. If you talk about it, most people will be like, oh no, there's no way you can do it. Like, the interest rates are too high or blah, 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 whatever they're going to say. And it's just not true. It's definitely not true. Right? But these guys that are 25 to 30, whatever job they have, it doesn't matter if they're stocking shelves or they're Fortune 500 guys, if they're these day traders or crypto bros, doesn't matter what they are. They believe their job is way more important than it actually is. So they don't have these things. They don't care about a job. They don't care about investing. They don't care about retirement because whatever they're doing right now, they think that is what matters. That's the only thing that matters. And it's hard for them to see beyond that because they think they should know everything at that point. And people that can't learn from other people, they're just going to be stuck, man. And that's when that midlife crisis comes in. Because when it actually kicks in, say you're a guy that is doing that. He's a single dude and he thinks whatever he's doing is great, but he's living paycheck to paycheck. And if at the end of the year you don't have anything to show for it, you are living paycheck to paycheck. Plain and simple. What do you have to show for it? What are your actual assets? That it's very simple. It's measurable. It's quantifiable. Do you have the same thing you started off with when you left mommy? Nothing. And if you don't have anything from when you left mom, then you are not measuring up. And you don't have the measuring stick to actually start measuring up, right? The midlife crisis comes in is when you meet a chick, you have an accident, have a kid, and then you start really figuring out that, wow, I have responsibilities now. Because I had someone say something where it's like, I don't know if it was directed to me, but I could see it. I could see that how he could think that, or his thinking was. It's like with someone's physique, say they are me, right? Like we'll say I'm 35 years old, like I'm damn close. If I look the way I am right now, I think I'm in good shape, and I think I've been in great shape for about 10 years. But really, I haven't really changed the way that I've looked. So me going to the gym, people could think about it as me not growing, right? Me staying the same. But for me, that's what I want. I just want to be strong, to look good, to be aesthetically pleasing, to look professional in my uniform. That's what I should do. I should look the part, and that's what I go for. But other people on the outside could look at it as, oh, he's not changing. But the thing about it is they don't understand. For say the 25-year-old that looks at me and is like, oh, he hasn't changed in 10 years. It's like, no, man, I actually have, in my job, I don't work just for myself. I have other people that I have to take care of, other people that I have to actually lead. Number one. Number two is I actually have been married for 10 years. So not only have I worked out consistently and stayed in shape for 10 years, I've had a full-on marriage for 10 years, and I have 2 children. So yes, my physical stature has stayed the same because I've just maintained, and that's my maintenance. That's my gym. I've hit where I want to hit, and everything else that comes into it does not stop this where I'm at. For a lot of people, good luck. Like, it's just not how it is. Look at the average 30-year-old. America, even the United States military, which I'm a part of, 68% are obese or out of shape. That is crazy. That is crazy. So it's really hard for people to measure themselves to other people if they don't know anything or they just assume everything. That's why you really shouldn't. Really, if you really want to measure yourself up to somebody else, hopefully it's someone that you want to be, right? And hopefully it'll be like, hey, bro, like, you want to be where I'm at? Like, you are doing better off where you're at right now, but have these things in line. Just tweak these things and you'll do way better than me. And that's what, like, I don't understand about the younger generation is, like, guys that are successful, they don't care. Like, they want to help you out. Like I don't know. Like, I think they've been hurt by other men that they've been around, that they're like gatekeeping and like not trying to help them, or just like think that they're going to be shamed because maybe they have been shamed by loser people that they've been around, and that sucks. And that's horrible. I know a lot of guys that have been through that too, but no, that's not what it should be like. So after you leave the house and you get your career going, you should be maintaining or gaining knowledge in how the world works. That means laws, that means money, especially how to make money, taxes, owning a house, like all of that stuff. That's like bare minimum of everything that you should be figuring out. And then the whole relationship and marriage and stuff, that stuff will come. That stuff will come when you're ready. But as a man, wait until you're 30. Like, you don't need to rush into it in your 20s. Like, you should be figuring out how relationships work, how females are, like, because a lot of guys get scammed, and they just don't understand that who they are right now. Like, guys, I think guys settle way faster than women do. Women settle after they're old. Guys settle early because they're dumb and they don't know that they can do any better. So after all this stuff, like midlife crisis is a thing, and I don't understand why it is a thing. Because if you understand how life works and what you're supposed to be doing, then there is no midlife crisis. And where I think the midlife crisis comes is, say you take the loser average dude, right? And he knocks up a chick at 22. And he was a high school jock, great athlete. He's working some, like I'm thinking about guys from back in my home. He works some like, not trade job, but what do they have? Like a plant, right? He works himself up to be like, oh, I don't know, a manager at the plant, and starts making some money. And then he's like living the life. And then he's like, you know what? I'm going to go to the gym. He goes to the gym, gets himself back in his 18-year-old shape. Now he's like 35 years old. And the girl that he got shacked up with looks like the lunch lady now. And then all of a sudden he buys a nice new car. And then he wants to talk to hot 25-year-olds. And then they call that a midlife crisis. It's not a midlife crisis. It's you finally got your life together and you figured out that you made a ton of mistakes. And now you want to do better, but you can't because now you're trapped. This is the midlife crisis myth that they put onto men. And it happens. It happens to a lot of guys because they just don't understand. They don't understand. They don't want to ask other people, and they just don't do the work. But most of it's just knowledge. If everyone understood all these things, then life would be a whole lot better and we would have world peace. But we don't, and that's just how it is. So if you're one of these guys that married the lunch lady and you're fat and out of shape and you don't know anything about finances and you've never owned a house and you're 40 years old and stuff, it sucks. It really does suck. But you can justify it. You can call me a nerd. You can do whatever. But or you could just ask people that have what you want, and just be like, hey bro, I'm 25 years old, and I thought I had stuff. I thought I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, but I figured out that I wasn't. Where were you at when you were 25? Be like, oh yeah, I was figuring out how markets worked. I was figuring out how to get a personal loan to buy something, to buy my first house. I was doing this. You'll learn so much just from talking to people. And really successful, good dudes will talk to you. If they don't, guess what? It's a sign that that's not a guy that you should be talking to. But to wrap this up, you can 100% gauge yourself and measure yourself between your peers and yourself. You can't go through this life saying that, oh, because I do X, Y, and Z, I'm better than this dude, when you don't know anything about that guy. But it is way easier to be like, hey, you have this. You have these skills. How did you get these skills? You have these assets. How did you get these assets? Ask some questions. But going around and pointing fingers at people when you don't have your life together in the first place, it's very hard. It's very weird. Like, it's very easy to look up simple Google search as a blank year old. What should I have in life? Okay, how do I get that? Simple as that.